Praise the Lord, everybody. Chris Davis, MC Rhema. Today, I got to talk about a few things. Today is December 21st. I've heard it to be the longest night of the year. I've heard so many things that happen within a few days before Christmas. And I always kind of wondered why. And I began to study things and even my own life. As a child, I grew up and I kind of always loved but hated Christmas and didn't understand why. Well, the reason why I'm posting this video on December 21st, I know it's late, but it needs to go out because my whole life changed 40 years ago. December 21st, 1976, as a 4-year-old child, I witnessed a family member almost kill another family member. And that was the begin of, as you would say, the knowledge of sin or the knowledge of good and evil. Because up until that time, as a child, there was a certain level of innocence. But after witnessing that act, I suddenly didn't want to be around certain family members, and I didn't understand why. As time progressed, because of that, I wanted to be around other members of my family, to which led me to being molested. At that point, I hated anything that was human. And so I began to become a very mean and hateful person. And what that caused was my grandfather, who was a multimillionaire, who I didn't know this at the time. I just remembered him taking me in his room and showing me a bed full of money and saying he was going to give this all to me when I was a kid. And then all of a sudden, they didn't want anything to do with me. Well, because after I was molested, I became so mean and so hateful and very disrespectful that they didn't want anything to do with me because of the way I was. But nobody took the time to research why. Now, I say that for a reason. The inheritance that I should have gotten, I didn't get because I started acting a certain way because something happened to me. So many times we see people that have been traumatized by rape, molestation, abuse. They've seen their parents do all kinds of stuff. They've seen family members do all kinds of stuff. And so it messes with the mind of a child. And they grow up not knowing what happened because the human mind will block the trauma as a form to protect itself. So now you have a child who grows up thinking a certain way, not because that's the way things are, but because that's the filter that they have in their life now. I've heard many people talk about it, and I've actually had to get therapy because I was trying to understand me and understand what was going on with me. And it all boiled back to what happened when I was a child. It started at 4. And the crazy thing is I knew something happened 4 days before Christmas when I was 4 years old, but I didn't know what. And so for years, I did everything I could to try to figure it out and find out until finally one day I asked a family member who was there and they told me. And I said, wow, that makes sense. Now I understand why I became so violent. Because as a child, I saw violence. And I saw violence on a regular basis, so I started to think that violence was normal. Then came the molestation. I knew that wasn't normal. But the violence prevented me from being molested because if anybody else ever got near me, it would be a fight and I was not going to lose. And so what happened is, as I progressed and I got married, the first time I got married, yes, I've been married twice. Yeah, okay, I screwed up. Oh well, don't judge me. But the first time, I was very docile. I was very whatever. But then when I got married again, it was like, oh, I ain't putting up with this. Peace out. I'll file for divorce. I'm not putting up with this. and not understanding the whole dynamics of my past, your past, and because we don't understand each other's past, the enemy just plays us like two puppets. See, you got to understand what people have gone through to understand why they are the way they are. It took me years to understand why I always thought violence was the answer. And after becoming a Christian, I struggled so much to not hurt people, to not just beat the crap out of somebody because they said something I didn't like, but I didn't understand why I thought that way. I had to have so much restraint, and a lot of times I just walk away and people didn't understand. Oh, you being scared. No, I don't want to hurt you. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, why am I thinking like that? Until all the dots got connected, and it all went back to 4 years old, December 21st, 1976. And I had to fight that thing because, no, I don't want to hurt God's people. But a lot of people don't fight because we give medical diagnosis and, oh, well, you just got this. Oh, you just got diabetes. Oh, you just got emphysema. You just got... No, you gotta deal with that issue. And if this is not a popular message, if some of y'all don't watch it, hey, I put the information out. The thing is, get in the Bible and start to study the Word. Not just listen to what your pastor say, study the Word. Because as you start to study the Word, you'll understand there is nothing new under the sun. But the same stuff that happened 2,000, 3,000 years ago is still happening now. Homosexuality is not new. It's been around for years. God wiped out a whole culture behind that. Took it off the map, lit the fire, boom, it's gone. Yet we sit and act like it's a new issue. And you got to ask yourself even then, why does that happen? Why is it so prevalent? Study Genesis chapter 19. But if you study also not only Genesis chapter 19, but if you study war, you'll understand the enemy is doing nothing more than trying to take the human race out because homosexuals cannot reproduce children. And one of the commands God gave a heterosexual couple, male and female, is to reproduce, to be fruitful, and to multiply. So if you really want to wipe a race out, look, y'all will catch some of this on another message, but I just want to tell you, the whole purpose for me saying what I was saying tonight is you got to understand what happened to people. You have to understand why they are the way they are. That way we can be more effective ministers and help. God bless you. Peace.
The change I want to see must first begin in me. I surrender so you